Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Last week we were discussing about the qualifications needed of a spiritual aspirant for studying Vedanta, the goal of which is to enable us understand our true nature, which is absolute bliss, absolute consciousness and absolute existence, Sat Chit Ananda. And how do we propose to understand this nature? By understanding the non-difference or the essential unity between Jiva and Brahman, between what we perceive as the limited soul and what we posit or think to be the unlimited soul, Paramatma and Jivatma. Before somebody even ventures into this kind of study, one has to have some qualifications similar to the qualifications you have when you enter into an educational institution or you apply for a job. Only difference is these qualifications which you need for educational institutions and for a job seem very easy to attain, whereas these qualifications, as we will see, seem very difficult to attain even in one lifetime. And for people who do not believe in various lifetimes, the matter gets even more complicated. So why does the scripture give us such a difficult qualification criteria? The idea is also to bring in an element of humility to understand that the scriptures or the teachers of Vedanta are being very gracious when they are imparting this knowledge, knowing very well that the people to whom they are imparting this knowledge are not, in the true sense of the word, qualified to get this knowledge. So once Swami Yatishwarananda, who was considered to be a great spiritual practitioner, great sadhaka, he wrote a book called Meditation and Spiritual Life, which is considered to be the Bible of spiritual life by all religions and sects across the world. And this Swami Yatishwarananda was the disciple of Swami Brahmananda, who was called the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Yatishwarananda approached Swami Brahmananda, asked him, said, Maharaj, please, if you consider me fit, give me sannyasa. So, Swami Brahmananda, who was also called Raja Maharaj, said that nobody is fit for sannyasa, but still I will give you. I think this is the spirit we should understand, that to understand the unity of Atman and Brahman, to understand the reality, the truth, that what we see as variegated, as the many, is in fact the one. There is no difference between the one and the many. In her introduction to the complete verse of Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita talks about her master, that is Swami Vivekananda, in a very high terms. And there she says that from now on, there is no difference between the sacred and the secular. And there is no difference between unity and many, one and the many. If there was any uniqueness in the message of Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, it was this, that they came to blur the boundaries between the one and the many. What you see as the inherent divinity and the manifold divinity. This gap which we perceive all the time was intended to be merged by Sri Ramakrishna and his disciple Swami Vivekananda. So we should understand that the scriptures of any tradition or the teachers of any tradition are being very gracious when they impart us this spiritual wisdom, this spiritual treasure, because they know that we are not fit to receive that knowledge, even though they impart it. Why? These are like guideposts in spiritual life. You have not reached Delhi, but midway you know that you are on the right path. You know that you are on the right path, so many kilometers left to reach Delhi. So, strictly speaking or technically speaking, one can have all these qualifications properly only after realizing the true nature of oneself. That is, only after realizing the unity of Atman and Brahman. It's like a chicken and egg conundrum. So what comes first, whether the egg or the chicken? Hen. So here also you become qualified to attain the realization of Brahman only when you attain realization of Brahman. So, but how do you proceed? So you need to know that you are on the correct path, and that is why all the Vedantic texts, they talk about what is called as adhikari. So we were talking about Anubandha-Chatushtaya, the quartet or the group of four of Anubandha, characteristics of a text. So all of you are very well aware of this. What are the Anubandha-Chatushtaya? Huh? Louder. Adhikari, yes. Please give me some vocal support. So, are you aware of the term vocal support? What is that?
So some people join in and
No, vocal support. No, that is not vocal. I don't know whether it is vocal support. So, vocal support generally in classical music, when the ustad is singing, all the shishyas, I am not considering myself a ustad, but sishyas will be sitting behind shishya or shishyas, and they will be also giving some support. Oh, sorry, today I did not do mobile shanti. So, I am extremely sorry for that. So, we had 3 shantis, the 4th shanti is mobile shanti. Anyway, it reminded me, I did not tell that. So, now we go to the last time we saw that you should have studied the Vedas and the Vedanga. Okay. Hello? Acha, oh. না ওটা তো তাহলে হতে থাকবে ওটা আপনার কি স্ক্রিন সেভার আছে এটা অফ করে দিতে হবে হ্যাঁ 1 মিনিট করে দেব কেন এটা হতে one thing they missed in this adhikari portion is that in the modern times, if you need to study Vedanta, you should also know computers. So that thing they forgot to add. Anyway, later on when we will write, we will add it. Computers also you should know. Veda, Vedanga. because where will you get Vedas unless you go to Googlai Namaha and do some, you go to archive.org. So that is the place where we can get all the old texts. So you should know computers. So we saw Vedanga. Vedanga are auxiliary disciplines which you need to know to understand Veda. Then we saw what is Pramana. I will just repeat what is Pramana. You came last time? What is Pramana? Okay, thank you. So you see, you are blissfully unaware of the methods of knowledge. Pramana means the method of knowledge, and Prama means knowledge. Prama means knowledge. Pramana, please note these terms because this will be coming again and again, irrespective of whatever Upanishad or whatever Vedantic text you read. These things will, they are like generic, they will come again and again. Pramana means methods of knowledge, method of knowledge. Prama means valid knowledge. Pramatru or Pramata means the knower. Prameya means the thing which is known or the object of knowledge. So there is the object of knowledge, Prameya, Pramatru, the person who knows it, or Pramata, Pramana, the method by which it is known, and Prama, a valid knowledge. For example, here we have this mineral water bottle. So I, using my eyesights, that is the direct perception, see this object of knowledge. Object of knowledge is what? No, but what is Prameya? Object of knowledge is Prameya. And the knowledge that there is a water bottle is Prama. And the means which I use for getting this knowledge, that is called Pramana, that is direct perception. And myself, I am the Pramatru or Pramata, the person who gets the knowledge. Now, so this was what we were talking about, death with a difference, how we have to die, but death will make no difference in our growth towards attaining this knowledge. It will be just like a metro station, one station in the process. So here what today we will see is Kamyani. What are there are, see, when we were talking about the qualifications of an aspirant for Brahma Vidya or the knowledge of Brahman, we saw that that person should have done Nitya karma or regular actions, should have performed Naimittika karma, special actions, and also should have avoided Nishiddha karma, prohibited actions, and Kamya karmani, actions done for desire. So, why does the scripture say you should not do? It is very obvious and natural that people will do actions for fulfilling their desires. So, the teachers of Vedanta or the tradition of Vedanta says that to discourage actions which are born merely out of desire. It does not mean that you should not do, or that if you do, you will be damned for eternity. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that you should avoid as much as possible performing actions just because they are propelled by some desires. So there is an example given of Kamya Karmani. Is it visible? Are you able to read this? Swarga adhishta sadhanani Jyotishtomaadeeni. So wherever there is the bigger akara in Sanskrit, I have put two A's. Similarly, wherever there is a bigger, longer ikara in Sanskrit, I have put two E's so that it is easy for you to understand. There is another way of representing this. It is called diacritical marks, and it is very critical, so I did not go for that because most of the people are not even aware of such a thing, and it is difficult to read. Like for Rishi, you have, for Ri, you have a dot below R, and for Sh, that is, there are three types of Sa. Sa, Sha, Sha. One is Danta, means which is dental, Sa. Another one is what you call Talavya Sha, That is, what is the labial, I believe, no? It is called. Huh? Palate. Palate is Murdhana Sha. Palate. This is called some. And then you have palatal Sha, that is Shashti, that Sha. So you have to, this pronunciation can be very tricky again. So Dantasa is you close your teeth and just like that, start hissing, not like a snake, of course. So that is a Sa. And then you use your tongue. When you give that pressure of air, you use your tongue also and hit the teeth with your tongue, Sha. So that gives you the Shankaracharya Sha, second Sha. And when you do the wind movement, then you take your tongue and touch your roof of your mouth. That gives you Sha, Shashti. It's very difficult, and some of you in the process of trying may break one or two teeth also, I don't know. It's possible quite. Very difficult. Gymnastic, people start doing yogasana and then they twist and like that, and when they need three people to untie the knot. So it is possible like that. So please don't, without supervision, don't even try for pronouncing Sanskrit. Swargadhishta sadhanani, Jyotishtomaadeeni. So in the Vedas we find a statement, Swarga kamo Jyotishtoma Swarga kama yajeta. What does that mean? Swarga kama, one who is desirous of attaining heaven, one who wants to. In this world you have AC and all that, so in the other world also you want AC, Mercedes Benz, etc. So you want heaven. So what you should do? You should perform the Jyotishtoma yaga. Such kind of a action is an action which is born out of desire. So that should be discouraged, or that should be avoided. Then we come to the next type of actions, which are nishiddhani, that is prohibited. Nishiddha means prohibited. So this prefix ni can be used in various meanings. It can be used in a negative sense, it can be used in a positive sense. So when we say swartha, then we say niswartha. So swartha means selfish, ni swartha means not selfish. So it has the meaning of an antonym, opposite meaning. Similarly you can, but mala means impurity, nirmala means pure, without impurities. So it can be done like that. But it can also be used to mean something which is very good. Very good. Suddenly example is not coming to my mind, but very good. So for example, some is used, that prefix is used in the sense of complete. Nyasa, samnyasa, sam plus nyasa means complete giving up, renunciation. Samyak rupena nyasa iti sannyasah. So like that, nikrishta purva, I mean nikrishta purva, that is another meaning of ni prefix. Nikrishta means very nicely done. Very nicely done. So it has got a negative meaning also, it has got a positive meaning also, and because of this wide range of meanings in Sanskrit language, this is the reason why we need the help of commentators. Otherwise, what will happen? What we call ulto bujli ram. Instead of understanding something, you understand the exact opposite of what is being told. So it is tricky, and because we are living in an age when we consider it is fashionable to speak in Spanish, almost the entire Kolkata is now converting into Spanish, but we feel apologetic to speak in Sanskrit. So Espanol is very good, but not so Sanskrit. Anyway, so Nishiddhani. What are the Nishiddha karma? What karmas? In Vedas we find a statement called Kalanjam ma bhakshayet. What is Kalanjam? Kalanjam, the etymological meaning is poisoned meat. Now I was wondering for many days, why would anybody with proper sense eat poisoned meat? Of course, many people nowadays do that, suicide. But anybody who wants to commit suicide, I have a word of advice. Please don't purchase poison, because there is a lot of adulteration. So for all you know, money also you will spend, and you know, one very intelligent person like me went to commit suicide, and he made elaborate preparations and went to our railway tracks, of course. So, and then he was sitting with 2 tiffin boxes. So another friend, you might be knowing this joke, but I will repeat it. Another friend came and said, "Hey, why are you sitting here on the track?" Then he said, "No, I have come to commit suicide." So he said, "Why do you have this tiffin? Agar train late aa rahi ho to?" So if the train is running late, how do I need to eat? It's like our hunger strikes, 4-hour hunger strike. Even in that 4-hour hunger strike, they go now and then in between, behind the tent, and take some banana and stuff like that. So, nishiddhani. So I was always wondering why somebody will take this kalanjam, that is poisoned meat. But the idea is not that. The idea is meat which is cooked and kept overnight, it seems it becomes poisoned. Of course, there is some kind of, it becomes spoiled. So you should not take such meat. That is a nishiddha karma. You should not. And the scripture says you should not do this. So similarly, narakadi anishta sadhanani. So you see, earlier we see swargadi ishta sadhanani. Ishta means that which is desired. While we were seeing the definition of Vedas, if any of you by chance remember, ishta prapti, anishta nivritti. This was the definition of Vedas, a text which will lead you to attainment of what you desire and abstain you or prevent you from attaining what is undesired, or getting stuck with what is undesired. So that was Veda. So a Shastra or a scripture which tells you how to attain something which you desire and how to abstain or be free from something which you don't want. So Swargadi Ishta. Swarga everybody wants. Everybody wants Mercedes and everybody wants AC. Similarly, Narakadi Anishta. So nobody wants to go to Naraka. So that is also Nishiddha Karma. So the Vedas, they prohibit you from doing some actions. If you do those actions, you will go to hell. So now regarding heaven and hell, I don't know where it is located, because they sent curiosity and even now we have not found. So probably they are, according to Swami Vivekananda, probably they are different states of existence in this very world. It is not that heaven suddenly you will find somewhere. For some people, their lives are really hell, and some people it is real heaven. Depends. It does not necessarily mean that the more you have it is nice and the less you have it is bad. Some people, they don't have anything and they have a heavenly life, and some people, they have all things whatever one could ask for, and yet they have a hellish life. So, or even if they don't have a hellish life, their friends or their acquaintances and relatives, they say go to hell. So always somebody is wishing that you go to hell. So nishiddhani, narakadi anishta sadhanani, like what? Brahma hananadeeni. So if you brahmana hananadeeni, Brahma hatya which is called. So if you kill a brahmana, then you will go to hell. Now here again we need to understand what is brahmana. There are many definitions, but generally a person who is on the path of attainment of Brahman is called Brahmacharati iti Brahmana. Like that, there is a definition. I think that is more practical and lucid and simple definition. So you have a Brahmana who is only for the namesake Brahmana. It's not just by birth. So, and he does all kinds of wonderful activities. So that person cannot be called a Brahmana. So Nishiddha Karmani are actions which are prohibited. These things you should avoid. Then you should do also something. It's not that only negative teaching is given. You should also do some things. What you should do, for example, everybody should take bath every day. This is modern day Nitya Karma. Many people don't do and create problem for the other people. So, and also we have so much of perfume, deodorant available in the market. So their sales increase, but other people's life becomes miserable. So Nityani, Akaranaye pratyavaya. If you don't do this, then you incur harm, injury. If you don't do, for example, Sandhya Vandana, the time when the dawn and dusk meet or sun comes to a particular position is called Sandhya. Ahnika it's called. So it is actually three Sandhya. Three. You see, three means in Sanskrit three, and three in English means three. So you just imagine from where what has come. Some people will say from English Sanskrit has come, but everybody knows that person is a fool because Sanskrit is such an old language. So three Sandhya, morning, afternoon or noon, not afternoon, noon and evening. These 3 times you are supposed to pray to God. And sometimes it becomes very simple because now the cost of one cylinder is so high, so you have to constantly pray to God. But even otherwise, please pray to God, and Sri Ramakrishna says that these are the times when mind naturally becomes calm. We also follow, you see, there are many geniuses who think that they can somehow beat the natural cycle. So they say that I am a person who is nocturnal, I study, work, everything in the night, and in the morning I sleep. It is very impossible, very impractical, and it is not possible. So morning you cannot exactly sleep like you will sleep in the night. Body can't take rest because we, like plants, we also have a cycle which is directly connected with the cycle of the sun. So that is why you see in our mythology so much of sun worship. Why? Because the cycle of sun is closely connected to our life cycle. So that is why it is told that in these times our mind becomes calm. So please contemplate, think about yourself or about other poor human beings who are suffering because of your actions. Like that, do some thinking, some contemplation. Sandhya-vandanadini, these are regular action, nitya karma, which you have to do. If you don't do, what will happen? Like if you don't sleep, what will happen? 1 day okay, 2 days okay, then you will have problem. Or at least people who are working with you will have problem. So sleep is a nitya karma, taking bath is nitya karma, then taking food is nitya karma, all like that. So akarane pratyavaya. If you don't do them, you incur harm or injury. Then you have prayaschittani, papakshaya sadhanani. You have incurred already some harm. You have done some harm or you have incurred some injury. So now you have to do prayaschitta. You appeared for an examination and you failed. So you have to again appear for it. Some people call it supplementary, some people call it something. And in some parts of India they say I got a cup. Cup means what? They simply fluked in one examination. So they have to again appear. Or suppose you don't behave properly in the class, so there is some penal action taken against you, some disciplinary action, you have to face that action. So this is also prayaschitta. Or in a relationship you are not, so either of the parties are not properly behaving, so for 2 days no call. So that is also prayaschitta. Sometimes that is better than having call. That is a different story altogether, but prayaschitta. So prayaschitta means you have already done something wrong and you are facing the consequences of that. So in Vedas, they are told that, for example, you have been told that Brahmana Hatya, you kill a Brahmin and that will bring harm, sin. So you kill a Brahmin. Then what you need to do? You need to do prayaschitta. Like we saw the example of the story of the genesis of Shukla Yajurveda, where Vaishampayana had to do prayaschitta for not attending the conference by incurring the sin of Brahma Hatya. So these are all penitential actions or penance. Then you have upasana. Upasana means what? Upasana means worship. Worship. You worship a particular deity or a particular object. That is called upasana. And upasana you should do. You should worship. Now you can do worship of God, and if you are not able to worship of God, you will have to, even though you don't like, worship somebody. In the office you will have to worship the boss, otherwise you will get no promotion. In the house you will have to worship your spouse. Okay, or sometimes your children, you will have to worship them, cajole them, adore them, give them some nivedana, offer them food, etc. So you see, even if you don't want to do it voluntarily, involuntarily, you are already always worshipping some person or the other. So, and worship in India is so integral that if you, all of us have travelled in vehicles, travel, cars, and all the cars for rental, etc. So whenever you will see a driver, maybe he is smelling, reeking of alcohol, but that person will come and do like this in front of steering wheel. He will just do like this, or he will take two agarbatti and do like that. You take any shopkeeper, he will, while closing, he or she will, while closing the shop, show camphor and all that, and while opening the shop also. So always we believe that there should be some worship. You purchase a computer, you have a puja. You purchase a car, you have a puja. So we always do puja. Sometimes to God, sometimes to politicians, but it is done always. So, and some, you see, even film actors and actors have got temples in India. This can happen only in India. Mera Bharat Mahan. So you see, this worship has to be done. But the scripture says that anyway you are going to worship, why don't you worship the higher nature, higher self? And how do you worship it? Someone was telling that in India you are all fools, you worship rats, you worship stones, you worship elephant. So the answer will be that no, they don't worship rats, because if rats were worshipped, pest control of India will be out of business. So major part of their business is to kill rats in fields. So we don't worship. We worship an symbol of God. We worship elephant as Ganesha means what? We worship a symbol of God. It is not animism, it is a symbolism of God. We worship everything. Practically in India, everything is worshipped. Even skull you keep, that can also be worshipped. You keep blood also, that can also be worshipped. You keep anything, you will worship. Wood, you have a devata for wood, you have a devata for water, you have a devata for sound, you have everything and anything can be worshipped. So we believe that the same Brahman is manifested as so many things. So that is why whenever we use some object as an object of worship, what we are trying to do is basically reminding ourselves that Brahman is omnipresent, or Brahman is all pervading. That's what we are doing. You call it Brahman or you call it God, it means one and the same. So that you need to do. At one point of the time in your daily routine, you need to devote some time and say that I will worship. I will try to connect myself to my higher being, to my supreme being. That is what is understood by the term upasana. Then you have Sadhana-Chatushtaya. You should be possessing this Sadhana-Chatushtaya. Up to this last class also we saw. Now Sadhana-Chatushtaya means what? These are the qualifications which you should possess to enter into the study of Vedanta. What are they? Chatushtaya means a quartet, a group of four. Sadhana means spiritual practice. Practice, sadhana. Abhyasa, sadhana means practice of anything. You can do sadhana of music, you can do sadhana of cooking, you can do sadhana of computers, you can do sadhana of sleeping also. Very few people do it nowadays, but once upon a time there were a lot of people who used to sincerely do sadhana of sleep. So sadhana of sleep also can be done, and some people do sadhana of cosmetics. Anyway, now you can have different types of sadhana, and this sadhana here, what is meant by the sadhana here is spiritual practice, spiritual sadhana. Spiritual. What is spiritual? Anything which is not matter is spiritual. Anything which cannot be perceived by the sense organs is spiritual. So that is what is told. So ghosts are technically speaking not spiritual, because many people can see ghosts. Brahman can never be seen. So that way it is totally spiritual. Spiritual, what is the first qualification you should have? We are talking about four. First qualification is Nitya-anitya vastu vivekah. So the difference between what is real, permanent, and what is temporary, to understand this is vivekah. It is vivekah. In Gita you get so many examples. He says that why are you in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna scolds Arjuna. He says, why are you making so much fuss of a war? After all, you know that all these people die and again come back. Gata suna gatansunscha na anushochanti. So nobody, the wise people, Panditaha, they don't sorrow or they don't grieve for people who go and come. So you are like a guest, you have come here, you will again go back. So why do you bother about for such a small period of time what is happening? Why do you bother? So many people died, etc. So Nitya-anitya vastu vivekah. You see things which are temporary, you see things which are permanent, so you don't bother about temporary things. That is called Nitya-anitya vastu vivekah. You know that these are all temporary. Now what happens is we have this knowledge at various levels, but we don't understand it from the higher perspective. We always know this. For example, you have a pen and the pen breaks, you don't make much botheration because you know pen, after all, for 5 rupees you get lot of pens. So you don't bother about that. At that level your idea of anitya and nitya is there. But if you are having, say, for example, a Rolex watch and it is lost, you make a hue and cry because you think that is a thing which is very permanent. It is also not permanent. So a friend of mine lost a car and went on wailing practically for a month. So I said, what is there? It's only a car, and why talk so much of Vedanta when you cannot even bear the passing away, so to say, of a car? So this is what we all know about the temporality or the temporariness of certain things, but we are at different levels. We have to increase our level. We have to understand that almost everything in this manifested universe, in the apparent universe, is temporary. This is called viveka. Then viragah. Viragah means what? Viragah is Iha-amutra phala bhoga viragah. Iha, here in this world, amutra in some other world, phala bhoga viragah. You renounce the enjoyment or the happiness which you will get out of bhoga, enjoyment of phala, fruits. In this world, how? Very simple. You are asked to come to a treat and then you know that you have got so much of studies to, so much of work to be finished, either study or research, and then you say, no, I will not come for the treat, it is so much waste of time and also it will add to my carbs and calories and cholesterol and stuff like that, so I will not go. So it's a great vairagya you have shown. Not maybe so much great, but for some people, rejecting a piece of pizza is a big vairagya. They will be thinking about that for 1 month altogether, that I did not take one piece of pizza. So that one vairagya. Second vairagya is that you do your scriptural practice, spiritual practice, scriptural study, contemplation, meditation, you do that, but not with an idea of attaining something. How many of you have seen Oh My God? Very recent movie to be seen. Huh? I would suggest all of you to watch this movie. Extraordinarily well done movie. Oh My God. So there this Akshay Kumar is the God. He gives the name of Krishna Vasudev Yadav. And then he says that people come to me with exchange offers. They say that you take this and give me this. Take that and give me that. And I saw that, I don't know whether knowingly or unknowingly, so many ideas of Swami Vivekananda were very nicely portrayed in this film, Oh My God. And it's a really, even an entertaining film and a film with a message. So you have such exchange offers that I will do this, as we saw, Swarga Kama Yajeta, Jyotishtomaadeeni Yajeta. So Jyotishtomaadeeni Yaga will be performed by one who is desirous of heaven. So this fellow, if he does not get heaven even after performing this yaga, just think what he will do. He will take to task all the gods. So like that, you have Agnihotram Juhuyat, Swarga Kama, the same thing. If you want heaven, you perform Agnihotra. So everybody will be performing Agnihotra because they want to attain heaven. So a person who will perform Agnihotra or do Upasana or whatever work, rituals, rites he is supposed to do, but will not expect heaven, that person has vairagya. Amutra, amutra means hereafter, the other world. That person does not want anything.
Swamiji, another definition of vairagya is
Vishaya anasakti means Vishaya again, that will mean what? Vishaya means both Iha-amutra phala bhoga. Vishaya does not only mean this world. Vishaya means also you have like in some religions they say land of milk and honey. So there is a land, promised land waiting for you. So if you can also relinquish the idea of attaining that promised land, if you can renounce, you can say, I don't want here also anything good, I don't want anything there, what I want is only to understand my true nature, that's all. I don't want any kind of rewards. That if you can do, then you have attained vairagya. It is easy to tell that I will not eat this or not do that. That vairagya is easy to attain. But the other vairagya of giving up the otherworldly attainments is very difficult. Most of us are not even in a level to even think of otherworldly attainments, so we will not understand what is being told here. But to say that I am suffering so much in this world, but even in the other world I will not get any heaven. What does it mean? What is the fun in that? So people will not accept such kind of a rigorous discipline. They will say, okay, I will suffer in this world, provided in the other world. How many you know about Max Weber? Max Weber, okay, no, it is not Greek and Latin, it is in pure English. This person was a German social theorist or sociologist. He wrote a book which is called The Protestant Ethic and the Rise of Capitalism. And this is connected with this topic, and that's why I am bringing the reference. He says there that countries which have Protestantism as their religion. Now what is Protestant religion? It was started by a person called Martin Luther, not the Martin Luther who fought for African American rights, no. Martin Luther, he was a father somewhere in 16th century. So he suddenly one day he had so many points of things to be changed in the church, then Catholic Church. So he just put it on the gate or the door of the church, and he brought about a revolution. So he is considered as the person who brought about the movement called Protestantism. Now what does Protestantism say? It says that if you are prosperous in this world, you will be prosperous in heaven also. So if you want to be nice in heaven, be wealthy, healthy, then you will be nice. So Max Weber did a wonderful study, and he says that in all the countries where this Protestant ethic is there, capitalism has increased. For example, US of A, we all know. And if you see conversely, wherever there is a Catholic prominence like South American countries, Latin American countries, you will see they are not that capitalistic. Why in India? The equivalent of Catholic Christianity is not exactly, but with many significant deletions and significant additions, you will see that they also believe in austerity. Hinduism also believes in austerity. So this kind of an approach, so that if you suffer here, you will get a better place in heaven. That is there more or less in Hinduism and Catholic Christianity. So that is why you see these people are not that capital oriented. Italy, for example, is not that capitalistic. So that is what the study says. That if you study the religion of these countries, they have denied fruits of the other world, of this world, to attain the other world, and that is why there is no capitalism so much. But Protestantism is there because if you are wealthy here, you will be wealthy in the other world also. So it is easy to give up pleasures of this world. Easy means comparatively easy, but it is still difficult, much more difficult to give up the pleasures of the other world. Then we have what is called as Samadhi, Shamadhi, Shatka, Sampatti. Shama, Adi, Shatka. Shatka means sextet, means a group of 6. Sampatti, wealth of 6 things. What are they? Shama, Shama means what? Shama means withdrawal of mind. Withdrawal of mind from sense objects. But the scriptures have pointed one thing. They have said except hearing. Why? Because we are all intelligent people, you see. We will say, I have withdrawn the mind, and when the teacher is telling, you will sleep and say, because you see, this is what Vedanta teaches me, that I have to withdraw the mind. So I withdrew the mind and I am blissfully unaware of what is happening. So no, you will have to hear the instruction. For that you cannot withdraw the mind from. So I knew a person who had a problem with hearing, and he was working in the armed forces, in the Indian Air Force to be exact, and whenever he had to hear something very unpleasant, so those days the old hearing aids, they used to have a small transistor like thing here, and there used to be one, I think you are aware of this, there used to be one connection. So he will just start scratching his chest, he will unplug that device and he will be, yes sir, he is hearing nothing. So nowadays of course it has become very difficult because you have such a tiny thing and you can hear very clearly. So whenever he used to scratch his chest means he is switching it off. So you can't say that. That is why the scriptures tell you that no, you have to hear. So apart from the sense of hearing, you remove or withdraw your mind. So there are a lot of allegories in the scriptures. For example, you have the very famous allegory of tortoise or the turtle, which if you just go to hit the turtle, what it does? It immediately withdraws its legs and also head inside. So similarly, you need to withdraw yourself. Withdraw yourself, like in the Upanishad that is told that there is a manufacturing defect in our senses. Parang pashyati na antaratman. What is the manufacturing defect? The manufacturing defect is we see always outwards, not inside. Kaschid dhiraha. And that is why some people who are having lot of perseverance, steadfastness, they amritatvam icchan. They desire immortality. And what do? Avritta chakshuhu. They turn their senses. Chakshuhu means eyes, but here it means all the sense organs, senses towards themselves. So that is what is Shama. Then you have Dhamma. Dhamma means not only that you withdraw your mind, but you also control your sense organs. Like you just go on eating. No, you go on a binge and then you say that I have no mind, but my hand is working and my mouth is working. You can't say that because you have to control the sense organs also. Our teachers also are very clever because they knew they will have brilliant students like you, so they have already put all the provisions. So mind has to be, why is it told separately? Because we all know we are sitting in front of the teacher and we can go on hearing for hours together some lecture or something, but yet understand nothing because our mind was not there. This is a common phenomenon. All of us are very well aware of this. So why our mind was not there? Because our mind was in something else. Something else, maybe some film like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or something. So we were thinking of that and our mind was not there, and so a person sitting just in front of me went on talking something, but I did not even listen to that person. So the primary instrument of understanding in every sense organ is the mind. If the mind is not there, you may see some things, like we go to a platform, what you see is a passive vision. You just passively see, you don't register anything. But if you actively see, then you register, you understand, etc. So Dhamma, you have to control the Shama is control of mind, withdrawal of mind except hearing, and Dhamma, control of sense organs again except hearing. So you just don't close your ears and say I am controlling my sense organs, so you say whatever you want, I am going to be blissfully unaware of this. Then Uparati.
Swamiji, withdrawal of this mind itself will not withdraw from the sense organs.
No, that's why I told you that you may say that only my senses are indulging in this.
Without the mind, the sense organs cannot operate.
No, I gave you an example. You sit in a classroom and then your mind is not there, but your sense organs are seeing. Or you are hearing. Technically you are hearing. The sound waves are entering into your body, but you are not processing it because your mind is not there. Even that should not be done. For example, you can't say that I am meditating and you go in midst of South City Mall, sit there and say I will meditate. So that will not simply happen. Why? Because you may try to meditate, you may try to control your mind and all that, but your senses are very active. So mind also should be controlled and senses also have to be controlled. Otherwise you cannot control the mind. Why? Because the senses will try to disturb your mind. The senses will try to make your mind restless. They are all like body-mind equation. If your body is not good, mind also is not good. Vice versa, if mind is not good, body is also not good. Similarly. So Uparati, then the next stage is, this is Shama, Dhamma. Shamadhi, Shatka, Sampatti. So 6, Shama, Dhamma, Uparati. Uparati means stopping all sense activities. You sit in front of the TV and say that, okay, I am controlling my mind, I am controlling my sense organs also, but okay, I will sit in front of the TV. It cannot happen. You have to also stop the origin of activity. You cannot simply sit in front of object and then say that I am trying to, you sit in front of Rasagulla and try to control your mind. You may be able to do it for 1 hour, 2 hours, and for the 3rd or 4th hour, depending upon your perseverance, the number of Rasagullas will be reducing. So it is not possible, like many, I would not name, you all know, like after Harry Potter, you know who. How many of you know Harry Potter? Studied? So you know who, Voldemort. So you know who. So like that, you know who, this person was trying to control his sex impulse and he was always having some people with him, saying that, okay, I will control the sex impulse, so I will always check whether I have control. That is a foolish thing. It never happens like that. If you have objects of sense enjoyment in front of you, it will always make your mind restless. That is bound to happen. So what you need to do is, you should need to abstain from that sense activity. That is why Uparati, that is why people used to go to mountains, hilltops. Nowadays even that cannot be done, because even before you have gone, the 2 people are sitting. So you have our very famous oft-quoted joke of this Hillary and the other person went to Everest. They thought they were the first people to go to Everest. But when they went and they put the flag there, another fellow came, Kerala tea stall fellow. He said, chaya, chaya, you want tea? So this fellow was already there. So very difficult. You go to a mountain, you don't get any place to stay, because then there is a place called Tapovan. How many you know? Above Gangotri in So that you go to Tapovan nowadays, Tapovan also they have got resort and all that stuff. So then you go to Antarctica, you will get penguins. So very difficult. Where to go? But anyway, you have to stop all the sense activities. I found that our guest house in IIT is very silent. So when all these people will go away there, you can stay here. And it is so silent, you can do all your spiritual practice. Then is, up to this also somehow you can do. Consult your travel agents and somehow you can go to some hill station. Sri Ramakrishna says that you need to spend some time in solitude. You can do. But the other one is very dangerous. The 4th one. What is that? Titiksha. Titiksha is endurance. Like in the 2nd chapter, Bhagavad Gita, it is told Sita Prajna Lakshana, means the characteristics of a person who is established in Brahman, knowledge of Brahman is given. Shitoshna, that is, you will not be Loshta, Kanchana, then you will not be, all these dualities are given. You will not be affected by the dualities of heat and cold. You will not be Sukha, Dukkha, so suffering and happiness. You will not be affected by the dualities of iron means that is considered to be worthless, but nowadays steel costs more. So, and gold. So you will not be, your mind will not be having a different attitude toward happiness and a different attitude towards misery. Then you are established in Brahman. Sukheshu vigata sprihaya, dukkheshu anudvignamana. So you are not disturbed by misery and you don't become highly exalted or euphoric in happiness. Vita raga bhaya krodha. So all this, you don't have raga, you have given up raga, or you have gone beyond raga. Raga means what? Not the classical music raga. This raga means attachment. Bhaya, fear, or krodha, anger. So this titiksha means you have to endure these opposite experiences. Somebody comes, suti ninda. So somebody comes and praises you, you become so happy. Somebody scolds you, you become so morose. So you can't do that. You should not do that. You be of a state of equanimity, the state of same-sightedness, whatever happens to you. So the famous shloka which is given in here, actually it is taken from Vivek Chudamani, is Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Titiksha, it's a feminine gender, so sa is also feminine gender. Titiksha nigadyate. That is called as titiksha. What is called as titiksha? Sahanam sarva dukkhanam. The bearing or accepting or forbearing of all miseries. Sarva dukkhanam. Apratikara purvakam. But not just bearing, but apratikara purvakam. Without having any reaction. Without having any reaction. Apratikara purvakam. Even that can be done. Suppose somebody comes and scolds you. Say your teacher scolds you, professor scolds you. You can keep quiet without telling him back anything, him or her back anything. You can keep quiet. But the next one is still difficult. Chinta vilaparahitam. You should not only not only not react, but not also think or lament. So many people have this habit of doing japa. A very good habit, but there are various kinds of japa people do. So some people, they do all the work all through the day, and they sit for doing japa, and they have this very elaborate procedure. They will have this asana, and asana will be 3-tier, 4-tier with so many things. It's like a cushion and all that. And then they will put this, because they have studied somewhere it is easy to collect material which are external. So they have studied in the 6th chapter of Gita that Kushottara, Kusha should be there, then this should be there. So they will all collect that and make a big asana, sit on that, which will induce more sleep. And then they have a huge Rudraksha mala. It's all very fancy stuff. So they will take, and then they will have a container to keep that Rudraksha mala. So they will take that, then they will have a big container to keep Ganga Jal. They will take that, then they will wash, there some more cleans, they put this. So the preparation for doing japa will take almost like 1 hour. And then they sit and then close their eyes and start doing japa. But what they do that time is, some people, sincere people, they do japa. But other people, they may also be sincere, but sincerely what they do, oh, you told me like this, I will see you. Dekh lunga. Like that. So this is another type of japa going on. Chinta vilaparahitam. You might have somehow borne the suffering. You might have somehow not. Many times we don't react because we can't react. Either you will be rusticated or you will be fired, so you can't react, you don't react. So that is not ahimsa actually. So somehow you kept quiet, but chinta vilaparahitam. You are going on thinking, oh, you did like this. Tumhara bhala ho. Means in almost all Indian languages you have a variation of this. Say, aapka bhala hoga. Means go to hell. So like that. So you have done this to me, you will be nice. Like that. So you have this vilapa, chinta vilaparahitam. That also should not be there. So see how easy it is to have all these qualifications. Then samadhana. Now once you have all these four, shama, dama, uparati and titiksha, then you have a ground of mind, mental ground, where there are no disturbances or there are no causes of disturbances. There is no way disturbance can come because you have removed yourself, your mind from all sense organs. You have removed sense organs also, you have controlled them. You have removed sense organs. First you remove your mind from the sense organs. Then you remove the sense organs from sense objects. Then you go away from the sense objects. Even individually, physically you go away. So you have stopped that. Then suppose in 1942 somebody told something that will not come to your mind, so you do titiksha. Even in your mind, whatever is there, the old garbage should not come. So you clean that. So now your mind has come to a state of cleanliness. Your mind is clean. And then automatically what will come is samadhana.
Before that, Shraddha is
No, after it is. At least in Vedanta Sara it comes after that.
from Shraddha, it comes
No, I have the shloka. Sadhana-Chatushtaya. No, it is after. Yes, after samadhana. After samadhana, Shraddha. No, it may be just a what you call in Sanskrit uddesha. Means it's just an enumeration order. You don't need to exactly follow that order. Even if I get Shraddha first, it is okay. Whatever I get, I will have. Because it's very difficult to get any of these things. So it's okay. Just it is given in that order. It is not hard and fast rule something. So samadhana. But this somehow it seems to me logical. That first you have shama, then dama, then uparati, then titiksha, then samadhana comes. So samadhana comes, and Shraddha is necessary, because Shraddha, if you don't have, how will you even follow this? Unless you have faith in the words of scriptures and Guru, you will not even follow these four things. So Shraddha is minimum thing necessary. Samadhana. Samadhana means constant concentration of the mind. Constant concentration of the mind. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra it is talked of as taila dharavat. When you pour oil from one container to the another, oil has a constant flow. There is no break in that because of its viscosity. So, similarly you should have constant thinking of what? Whatever you want to think. Concentration. So you see, up to this is practically non-spiritual or a-religious. You can use shama, dama, uparati, titiksha and samadhana for purely secular purposes also. Suppose you want to attain mental powers, you can use this. Like that is why in our mythology you see the example of asuras. So Ravana does lot of tapasya and asks for some boon. Kumbhakarna wanted something else, he got something else. Poor fellow. So this kind of thing can be used to attain whatever you want. Till now there is no spiritual context here. Up to samadhana there is no spiritual context. You can use this for anything you want to attain. But if you have concentration of mind, Swami Vivekananda says that if I were to, or if it were possible for studying again, then what I will study first is concentration of mind. I will first study how to have concentration of mind. So concentration of mind if you have, you can have all things. So samadhana is focusing yourself. The modern term is focus. So you focus yourself on a particular object, that object or a thought. Now in Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, what happens is you first get the instruction from the Guru. And the instruction is called Mahavakya. Why Mahavakya? Brahma Atma Aikya Pratipadaka Vakyam Mahavakyam. Means a sentence, Maha great, Vakya sentence, great sentences, Vedic statements. A sentence which will make you understand the unity between Brahman and Atman is called Mahavakya. I am Atma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. Tattvamasi, Prajnanam Brahma, these are all representative Mahavakyas. Whole Vedas are full of Mahavakyas, but from each Veda, one Vakya has been taken as representative. So once you hear Tattvamasi, then you should have all this qualification, then you do Samadhana, constant meditation on Tattvamasi. Then technically it is told Tatpada Shodhana. Shodhana means research. Pada means word. You start researching on the word Tat, means that. And you start researching on the word Tvam, means you. You are that. Then you understand that both you and that mean the same thing. So, while you want to research, how will you research? You need to have this constant concentration of the mind. And also, Katha Upanishad is very characteristic in talking about this quality, that is Shraddha. No, it is not Shraddha. And in Bengali you have a different meaning of Shraddha. You know what is the meaning of Shraddha? So you can ask your Bengali friends, what is the meaning of Shraddha? So somebody does your Shraddha when you are alive, what is the meaning? Shraddha korche. So belief in the scriptures and the Guru. Guru and the scriptures. You believe. Shruti means that is scripture which has come through the oral tradition by hearing you hear, and Guru. You believe. That is Shraddha, not Shraddha. Shraddha, that is Shraddha. We will come to that later. From here the sacred context or the spiritual context starts. From the fifth point, Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, here the fifth point only the spiritual context starts. And the next requirement is Mumukshutva. Mokshayatum Ichcha, Mumuksha. The desire to get liberated. Muktirichcha, Mumuksha also can be told. The desire to have mukti or to get liberated. From what? It is believed, at least the Indian tradition believes, that you have different births and different deaths. So, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam, Bhajagovindam, Shankaracharya says. So you have to come again and again and again and again until you exhaust your karmas, the stock of actions which you have got. How will you exhaust? When you will go beyond the sense of doership. When you can also say like Vyasa that I have not taken any food. So if I have not taken any food, please Yamuna give way. So Yamuna also gave way. This person fired a feast before that. So that means he is totally devoid of I consciousness or kartrutva, sense of doership. So if you have that desire, how do you have this desire? What kind of desire should be like? How it will be? Sri Ramakrishna gives a wonderful parable which has been told in the scriptures. Deepta Shikha. Deepta Shikha means, Shikha here in this context means your head. Deepta means a flame or which is on fire. So your head is on fire, suppose. What will you do? Many people, they have this experience, though not literally it is not on fire, but their head is burning, so much of scolding in the office, so much of problem. What they do? They come to home and go and stand under the shower. So exactly your head is in fire, something like that. You make it multiplied into 100, something like that, that feeling. What will you do? You will immediately rush towards water. You will try to go to a pond or some place where water or under the shower and try to put off that fire. That kind of. There is another example which Sri Ramakrishna gives. A person went to the Guru and said, what is this mumukshutva? How do you? So he said, okay. He took his head and immersed it into water, in the water. And this person was gasping for breath. Then he took him out, just at the precise moment. And then he said, how did you feel? He said, I was like gasping, when will I come out of water? So that type of feeling you should have. You should feel that I should get liberated. You should be so much of, vyakulata. You should be so much of eager, earnestness you should have, yearning for liberation, and then you will get liberated. So that is mumukshutva. You should have that kind of desire, so much of intense desire for liberation. So most of us now here in this hall have a liberation desire, that when will this class come to an end. So that kind of, some kind of that kind of intensity you should have. That is called mumukshutva. So all these Shatka Sampatti you are aware of. Sadhana-Chatushtaya and Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Now, whenever there is a text, it can be a sacred text or it can be a secular text, you see that there is some kind of statement in beginning of the text. Kalidasa, if you read poetry, or in the modern day context, you see that before a novel begins, it will be written to my wife or something like that. Somebody they will write something. So there will be one, suddenly you see one page, it's only written to my wife and to my children, like that. So that is the modern day Mangala Charana. What is Mangala Charana? Mangalam Uddishya Acharana. Means you want, well, something good to happen. So you want some good to take place and you do some kind of activity, that is called Mangalacharana. What is this? So in Mangalacharana, it has got many purposes. First thing is, Mangalacharana usually was written before a work was started. So like modern day authors, you just write 4 pages of a novel and you give it to a big publisher and they give you money in advance. And they do lot of publicity. Novel is coming, and then you have this pre-publication rate, and then everybody purchases the novel, because once a person reads, nobody will purchase. They know the quality. So they do this hype, and when you read Chetan Bhagat, what young India wants, I got that and found that it is completely worthless. But anyway, somehow they could do that work because 20%, 50% discount they gave, and I also purchased. So Mangalacharana. So Mangalacharana is written before completion of the work. What kind of work? For example, Shankaracharya is writing the commentary on Katha Upanishad. Now Shankaracharya knows that it is a big task he is undertaking, even for that great intellect who completed all his work within the age of 16. So he also knows that he is taking a huge undertaking. So he wants the blessings of God and Guru, etc. and he writes invocation, prayer, say let this work be completed. So before going to examination hall, many people have so many kind of things, you all know that, and even after going there they will like kiss this pen some 1,000 times or something like that and go on and pray like that. And after this answer paper reaches the examiner starts praying to God for a different reason. So like that, invocation is necessary. You invoke the blessings of God and your teacher. This is also done. You invoke the blessings of God also and also teacher. That is one purpose of Mangalacharana. The other purpose is, many times in a text, Mangalacharana gives the Anubandha Chatushtaya. It is in Mangalacharana that the person writes what this book is about. Anubandha Chatushtaya, Adhikari, Vishaya, Sambandha, Prayojana. That is given in Mangalacharana. That is also one purpose. So depending on the text, this is written, Mangalacharana. So that now one question can arise. There were so many texts where Mangalacharana was written, but the text was not completed. Like that, objection is raised. Say, oh, this text has Mangalacharana, but we find that the author died before the text could be completed. So what does that mean? Does that mean that Mangalacharana should not be written? So you say, no, Mangalacharana should be written, or Mangalacharana should be there, so that at least you know, get an idea of the author of the text and also the guru of the author. Maybe in that case, that is a rare example where it could not be completed, but it is not the general rule. So many texts in Sanskrit, we find that the name of the author or the name of the guru we find only through Mangalacharana. But for Mangalacharana, it's like the signature mark. So sometimes people draw paintings and they write their signature. Sometimes the signature is bigger than the painting itself. So now many people, we invite people because Ramakrishna Mission is you all know, a charitable organization. We don't have much money or resources, what is called resource constraint environment. So constrained environment, so we invite people to do the book design or the magazine cover design. Some people have very big names, big artists. So they will make a design and they will write the name exactly the place where we don't want it to be. Say they have made a painting of Holy Mother and just near the face of Holy Mother they will give the signature. What kind of... So this kind of behavior also happens. But those days you see people wrote huge voluminous texts and never even mentioned about themselves. That is the kind of intellectual, universality or catholicity people had those days. So now if you ask anybody to give a lecture or share the knowledge, they will say, how much do you give me? So that first question will be that, and that somehow unfortunately in India it is too much. Abroad it seems it is not that much. People are ready to share knowledge, but in India where knowledge in terms of Vedas came, here we have this kind of attitude, what will I get? So Mangalacharna, many places Mangalacharna is the only text by which we come to know about the author and also the guru of the author. So it has purpose of invoking God and the guru. It has the purpose also of praying to the gods for the regular completion of the project, and also the purpose of giving Anubandha Chatushtaya, Adhikari Vishaya Prayojana Sambandha. Now, this is Katha Upanishad. Very few Upanishads have the intonation marks, chanting marks. Some Upanishads we have not got, somehow it has been lost. But Katha Upanishad has this. And Swami Vivekananda was very fond of Katha Upanishad. He wanted everybody to memorize Katha Upanishad. I would also request you to memorize Katha Upanishad. Very simple actually. And here we see, for example, you see, Ushana vai vajasravasah sarva vedasam dadau tasyaha nachiketa nama putra asa. Like that. Tagum ha kumaragum santam dakshinasu niyamanasu Shraddha vivesha somanyata. Like that. So there are various kinds of renderings of this. Some people have done a musical rendering, some people have done a different kind of rendering. So it can be chanted. So if any of you are interested, you can purchase such texts available and you can chant. Now we will go into the Upanishad proper, Katha Upanishad. First mantra. Katha Upanishad has got 2 chapters and every chapter has got subsections and every subsection has got some mantra. So this is the first mantra of the first adhyaya or chapter of the first valli. It is also called, the subsection is called valli, V-A-L-L-I, valli. Om Ushanha Vajashravasa Sarva Vedasam Dadau Tasya ha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. Om, you all are aware of Om. Om is the combination of A, U and It is considered to be the source of all words, all sound produced in the world. It is also called Pranava. So there is a separate school of philosophy in Indian philosophy which says that you don't need to do anything, you just go on worshipping this Om and everything you will get. And that is called Spotavada, which has got a parallel to some extent similar philosophy in the West, which is called the theory of the Logos. In the beginning was the word was God. From there they have brought this philosophy that word is everything. So Spotavada and Bhartrihari is considered to be the proponent of this school. Om. After Om, Om is here also used in the sense of invocation of God. Om. Ushanha. Ushan means a person who is desirous of fruits. A person who wants fruits, or a person who wants results, Ushan. A person who wants results is called Ushan. Ha means Havai, means Ekta Raja, Ekti Rani, means once upon a time. All stories have to begin like that. Once upon a time, etc. So here also once upon a time. So Ushan Havai. Vaja Sravasa. See, Vaja Sravasa means, this word means the son of Vaja Sravas. Vaja Sravasaha means the son of Vaja Sravasa. What is the meaning of Vaja Sravasa? Vajan, Vaja or Vajan means food grains. And Shravasa means one who has become famous. So, one who has become famous by donating food grains, food for all project. So they have donated and they have become famous. So Vaja Sravasa is the son of a person who became famous by donating food grains, giving in charity food grains. So that is Vaja Sravasa. Sarva Vedasam. Veda means so many things. It can also mean wealth. So Sarva Vedasam means all wealth, all sampatti, whatever wealth he had. Tasya, of him, whatever wealth he had. Ha means that is what is heard, as the story goes. Nachiketa nama putra asa. So dadau means gave away. Now here there was a person. This is how the story begins. Here the many things are not told. Shankaracharya tells them in his commentary. This is the story. The story is that there was a person called Vaja Sravasa. Who is a Vaja Sravasa? Who is a son of Vaja Sravas. And who is Vaja Sravas? Who got that name by giving away food grains in donation. So this person got the name Vaja Sravasa. His son was there. And this son, Sarva Vedasam Dadau, was giving away all his wealth. Now, why will anybody give away all wealth? So that is not told in the Upanishad. Shankaracharya gives us the answer. He says this person was performing a sacrifice called Vishwajit sacrifice. Even this name of the sacrifice is also provided by Shankaracharya. He says Vishwajit sacrifice was being performed by Vaja Sravasaha. And in Vishwajit sacrifice, you have to give away all of your wealth. Why? What does Vishwajit mean? Vishwajit means that you have conquered Vishwa. One who has conquered the Vishwa is Vishwajit. So after conquering the entire world, you perform this sacrifice. Because after conquering, you have no need with wealth. So you give away all wealth. Like some devotees, once they use all things, they give it to our ashrama. They say, okay, second hand. Chalo, Maharaj, aap rakh lo. So all used furniture, everything. So Vishwajit sacrifice. So you have conquered the world and now you don't need any wealth, so you give away. Conquered both physically, may not physically, but at least at the spiritual level, mental level, you have conquered the world. So you give away all wealth. Tasya, he had a son called Nachiketa. So he had a son whose name was Nachiketa, and he only created all the confusion. Like all physics students may be wondering why this Max Planck and all this Einstein and all people, if they could have simply slept, our world could have become so easy. Life would have been much more easier. So no, but this Nachiketa has to create problem, and his father also. So now we have to study Katha Upanishad. Anyway, so Nachiketa was the son of Vaja Sravasa. Now, what happened? What happened was, second mantra, what happened is not told in the second mantra, but the reaction of what happened is told in the second mantra. So you see, we will come to what happened. Now this Vaja Sravasa was a wonderful person. We had a Swami who used to see, whenever he used to see something wrong, he used to say, wonderful. So like that, Vaja Sravasa was a wonderful person. What? His father was great person who got this name Vaja Sravas by donating things, but this fellow did not want to donate anything. So though he was performing Vishwajit sacrifice, he did not give anything at all. He was keeping everything with him, and all tuta futa saman he was giving. So that is the problem. So that is why you see, tamha kumaram santam dakshina sau niyamanasu shraddha vivesha so amanyata. So kumaram. Kumaram means small boy. Small boy, chota ladka, very small boy, tukda fellow. Kumaram. Santam. Though he was small, tam Shraddha avivesha. Into him, Shraddha entered. As though Shraddha was a person and entered into the, like ghost entering into somebody. So, Bhoot Aya Bhago. Once, already second version has also come, Bhoot 2. So, first itself is so tragic. You go for seeing a horror film and you start laughing. So much of comedy. So, Bhoot Bhago. Bhoot Aya Bhago. So, you see, Shraddha as though it's a booth, it's entering Nachiketa. Why? This is a imagery of the Upanishads to make you understand the concept that he was overwhelmed, overpowered by Shraddha. Like most of us are overpowered by anger. Suddenly you become angry, you don't know what you are talking, you don't know what you are doing. Similarly, he was overpowered by good thing, Shraddha. Shraddha means faith in scriptures, belief in scriptures and Guru. Shraddha. Why Shraddha came to him? Dakshinasu niyamanasu. When all this dakshina which was supposed to be given to the priests who were officiating, who are called Ritvija. Ritvija means people who officiate or are performing a sacrifice or a yajna, Ritvija. So when these gifts, dakshina was brought to be given, seeing the dakshina itself, he became so shattered that he felt overpowered by Shraddha. What? Dakshina is all useless thing. What he will not ever have was all being given as dakshina. So dakshina. So he saw amanyata and he thought, he started thinking. Here, as far as Shraddha is concerned, I want to make a point here, a mention of a particular thing. How many of you are schooled into Western philosophy or know something of Western philosophy? Okay. So you are aware of Paul Ricoeur? No. Thank you very much. So much so simple. If the audience does not know, whatever I can say and simply kete podo. So people will not contradict. But anyway, Paul Ricoeur was his area of philosophy was very wide, but he is one of the post-structural thinkers. There's something called as post-structuralism. So he said a wonderful thing. He passed away only recently, 2005, and he has written many books. And one of his important contributions is called Hermeneutics of Suspicion. Hermeneutics. Please don't ask me how do you pronounce this thing as hermeneutics. They pronounce, so I also pronounce. Hermeneutics of Suspicion. It's not in Sanskrit, you write what and you pronounce the same thing. Suspicion, he said it in a book where he talked about Marx, I think, yes, Marx, and he talked about this hermeneutics. What is hermeneutics? Interpretation of words is called hermeneutics. Hermeneutics, the way you interpret, the school of philosophy which deals with this. So, suspicion. He says this statement. What is this? He says, three masters seemingly mutually exclusive dominate the school of suspicion. Marx, Nietzsche and Freud. Why am I giving you this? Because we see suddenly that there is a lot of decline in Shraddha. You say something to your friend, he says, is it so? You tell something to your child, he says, my father does not know, old fellow. So always a sense of disbelief, a sense of skepticism, a sense of suspicion. They will say Renaissance, you call it Renaissance, you attribute it to people like Derozio or whomsoever, but it is there. And Paul Ricoeur rightly found out the cause of these villains of this story. These three people. Marx. Marx started the suspicion of economic theory or the suspicion of production. He said, no, there is somebody called proletariat, somebody bourgeois, this and that. So these are the factors which influence, etc. Later on, it had got political ramifications, but scholars know that his theory was more an economic theory than a political theory. Marx. Then Nietzsche. Nietzsche said that famously, he said, God is dead. Nihilism. He said God is dead. So that was his theory. And Freud. We all know what Freud did. He gave an excellent contribution to the field of psychoanalysis, psychology in the terms of psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is something which he developed as a technique and wonderful. But he created more problems. He said that whatever happens in the body or whatever